Okay, so in this class, we will talk about our next chapter, that is coordinate geometry. It is the third chapter. Okay, so let's get started. I've shared my whiteboard. Are you able to see it?
It's loading.
Okay. Chapter 3, that is coordinate geometry. Okay, so let's talk about the first section. That is 3.1. Okay. Length of a line, segment, and midpoint. Okay, so this is what we will talk about. Okay, so in coordinate geometry, basically we will be talking about different geometric shapes like circles, like lines, and we will be using their coordinates time and again to find different things. For example, the first shape is a line. Okay, when we say line segment, it basically means a line of fixed length, and we will find its length using the two endpoints, right? And we will also find the coordinates of the midpoint of that line. For example, let's say that this is my y-axis, this is the x-axis, and we are interested in finding out the length of this line segment particularly. Why line segment? Because this line has a fixed length. Let's say the coordinates of this point are x1 and y1, and the coordinates of this point are x2 and y2, right? This is point Q and this is point P, and this basically is line segment PQ. Okay. Now we know that every point has two coordinates. One is x coordinate, the other one is y coordinate. And here we are trying to see how to find the length of this line. So we have a fixed formula which we will be using. And the formula is length of PQ is basically under root x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. Okay, so this is x2, we have x2 here, this is x1, we have x1 here, right? You can choose any of the x coordinates as x1 and x2, the answer would still be same. I will prove that in an example, but for now just know that you need to find the difference of x coordinates of both the points, the difference of y coordinates, you need to square them up, sum them up, and find the under root. So let's say that if we have a question, so I will make another line. This was the formula. Let's say that this is our line and the endpoints are, this point is 1, 2. When I say 1, 2, it means that the value of y is 2 and the value of x at this point would be 1. And if I talk about this point, let's say it is 3 and 8. Not 3 and 8, wait, 8 and 3. This is 8 and 3. So 8 means that the x coordinate of this point would be 8 and the y coordinate of this point is 3. We need to find the length of this yellow line. Let's call it A, B. So how do we find the length? Using the formula. Again, we will write it as length of AB is basically under root. You can choose any point as first point and any point as second point, right? Don't get confused by this 2 and 1. So all I have to do is square the x terms. So let's say that I call this as x1 and y1 and this point as x2 and y2. So I want x2 minus x1. That would be 8 minus 1 plus y2 is 3 minus 2 square. This will give me under root 8 minus 1 is 7 square plus 1. This is under root 7 square is 49 plus 150. This would be the length. Okay, now I got 50 when I used this as first point and this as second point. Let's switch these and let's see if we are still getting 50 or not. This time I will call this as x1, this as y1, this as x2 and this as y2. And again I will try finding out the length of AB. So x2 minus x1, what is x2? 1 minus 8 square plus what is y2? Y2 is 2 minus 3 square. I am getting minus 7 square plus minus 1 square. I know that square of any negative number becomes positive. So minus 7 square would be 49 again and minus 1 square would be 1 again. So I will get under root 50 for this as well, right? So this is how we find length of a line segment. Anything that you would like to ask Gayatri and Ashal?
No.
Okay, and what about you, Gayatri?
No.
No, okay, perfect.
No, it's got
Okay,
it.
okay, perfect. Okay. So this is how we find the length of a line segment. Let's talk about the second concept of this first section, midpoint. So again, we will make a line and then we will talk with reference to that line. So I will rub this example and we have, again, let's say this is a line and this point is x1, y1. This point is x2, y2, and I am interested in finding out the midpoint of this line segment. So midpoint of this line segment would be somewhere here. When I say midpoint, I'm not interested in this length or stuff like that. No, I'm saying midpoint. So by midpoint, I mean the x and y coordinates of this point, right? And we need to find a formula through which we will be doing so. Okay, so let's do it. Acha, so the formula this time is, again we are interested in finding the midpoint of, let's say this is A and this is B. So it is midpoint of AB. Again, it is going to be a point with an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So it would be x1 plus x2 by 2 and y1 plus y2 by 2, right? So this is how we find the midpoint of any line segment. For example, if I make a line, let's say here, so let's say this is -8, this is -7, um, this value is -1, and this value is -2. So the coordinates of this point would be -2, -7. And what would be the coordinates of this point? Can anyone tell me?
-8, -7.
-8, -1. Okay, this is -1.
That is okay.
Okay, that's perfect. So we are interested in finding out the midpoint. So how do we find midpoint? This is the formula again. Midpoint would be x1 plus x2. We need to add both the x coordinates. It would be -8 -2 divided by 2, and the y coordinates -1 and -7. -1 and -7 divided by 2. So this will give me -5 and -4. Let's see where's -5 and -4. This would be -5 and this would be -4. So this is the point, and yes, it certainly is the midpoint, right? So did you understand how to find midpoint and the length of a line segment, both of you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So right. So let's just clear this up. And I have a question for you people, and I want you to do it and tell me whatever you're getting as your answer. So the question is, the distance between two points -2 and A, and Q is A -2 and -7. So the distance between points P and Q is basically 17. The question is, find the possible values of A. So you have 3 to 4 minutes. Just do this question and just send me the answer in chat box, right? I want you guys to do this question right now. And if you're not able to do it, just tell me immediately that, ma'am, I'm not able to do it, so I'll do it. Yes, are you able to do it? Just tell me if you are like doing it or not. Just so I know if you guys are doing it or just, waiting for me. Yes, Ishal and Gayatri.
Yes, ma'am, I'm trying to do that question.
Okay, okay, very good, excellent. Ishal, are you able to do it as well?
No, and I got disconnected midway.
Okay, so are you back now?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
can
back.
you, okay, so are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I am. I can
Okay,
see it.
so this is the question which I gave you guys. You can just try it. You still have 1 minute. You know how to find the distance between 2 points, right? So you have to basically solve this question and tell me the answer. Find the possible values of A. Can you just try it? Or even just think about the concept like Gayatri is doing it. Just think about the possible ways of solving this question. Okay, let's do it together now. Okay. So, what is the question? The question is that the distance between these 2 points is 17. We need to find the possible values of A. Since we know that the distance between these 2 points is 17, I can write it as distance between P and Q is basically equal to the length of line segment PQ, right? Because that would be the distance between these 2 points. So I can find it as under root the difference of these. So the formula is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 square. So let's call this and this as x1, y1, and this as x2 and y2. Okay, so this equals x2 is a minus 2 minus x1, that is minus 2, whole square, plus y2 is minus 7 and y1 is a minus a square. Ishal, are you able to understand it? And Gayatri, were you
Yeah,
doing it the same way?
I get it. Yes, miss.
Very good, excellent. Okay, so what is the distance? We have been told that the distance is 17, and I need to simplify this. So I will get rid of this big under root by taking square on both sides. So yes, and now I have 17 square equals a minus 2 plus 2 square plus minus 7 minus a square. Minus 2 plus 2 would be cancelled. And finally, I have 17 square, that is 289 equals a square plus, okay, what is the, how do we expand the square minus 7 minus a square?
With the formula.
Very good. Okay. So we all know how to do it with that formula, but an easy way of doing it could be, since minus is making the thing even more complicated. So I can write this as minus 7 plus a, and we have a square on it, right? Square of any negative number is basically equal to 289 equals a square plus 7 plus a square. Do you agree, Ishal and Gayatri? Did you understand the step? I just wanted to get rid of
Yep.
these minus. Okay, Gayatri, are you okay with this?
Yes.
Okay. And now I just have to expand it. So I'll do it quickly. 289 equals a square plus, okay, now I have 7 plus a square. 7 square is 49 plus 2 into 7 into a is 14a plus a square. Finally, I will get 289 equals a square plus a square, that is 2a square plus 14a plus 49. I can write it as 0 equals 2a square plus 14a. And what do we have? 49 minus 289, that would be minus 240, right? And now I can take 2 common because I have 2 in every term. So that would make things much more simpler. 0 equals a square plus 7a minus 120. Anything that you have not understood so far?
Got it.
Okay. Now what is the next step? You have to factorize it. So you need to think of two numbers such that when you multiply them, you get 120. And when you add them, you get 7a. So can you think of two numbers of this type? And if that way it is complicated, let's just do it with the formula. So A is 1, B is 7, and C is minus 120. What is the formula? I'm talking about the quadratic formula. So A equals minus B, that is minus 7 plus minus under root B square, that is 49, minus 4, A is 1 into C, that is minus 120 divided by 2 into 1. And finally, I will get A equals 8 and A equals minus 15. So what was the question? The question was to find the possible values of A. So these are the two possible values of A. A could either be 8 or A would be minus 15. So did you understand this question completely?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, perfect. Acha. Now I want you guys to think about this question as well, because this thinking process is very, very important. Only then you guys would be able to, learn things nicely. So we know three of the vertices of a parallelogram A, B, C, D are, we know three vertices. A vertex is minus 5, minus 1. B is minus 1, 4. C is 6 and minus 2. So A part is find the midpoint of AC. Please start your working and tell me the midpoint. You have 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I will write the first complete question. Just do first part. So you need to find the midpoint of AC. I've already told you the formula. This is point A, this is point C. Just find the midpoint and just tell me the answer then.
One upon two and minus 3/2.
Excellent. Very well done. Very good. Very good. That is correct. Okay, so the answer is, and Vishal, are you getting the same values?
Yeah, I'm solving it.
Okay, okay. Take your time and do it.
Is it 1/2 and -3/2?
Yes, that is correct. Very well done. Excellent. Okay. Now the next question is find the coordinates of D. So how do we find the coordinates of D? We know that ABCD is a parallelogram, which means that these would be the four sides, these would be the 4 points, and we have ABC. We need to find the coordinates of D. So first, I will just plot the parallelogram just so I can see what exactly it looks like. So we have the three x coordinates. The first y coordinate is -1, then we have 4, and then we have -2. Let's write this as 4. Okay. So first point is -5 and -1. This is the first point. There it is -1 and 4. Okay. Okay, wait. Uh, this point is -4, which means we will have -4 here. So B would be -1 and -4. Okay. And then we have 6 and -2 this point. Okay. So I can just connect these 3 points just so I know how my parallelogram would look like. Okay, so this is one side, and then this is the, that should be like this. So I will change this point. Acha. Any questions so far? Did you understand its plotting?
Yes. Can you
Okay.
explain again?
Okay, sure, I can. Okay, so Ishal, we know that this is a parallelogram, ABCD. A point has these coordinates, B point has the coordinates, and C point has these coordinates, right? We are interested in finding out the coordinates of D. If A has -5 and -1, this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. So -5 and 1, this would be A point. Then this is the x coordinate of B, this is the y coordinate of B. So -1 and -4 is basically here, this is B point, and then 6 and -2, x should be 6 and y should be -2. So this is my C coordinate. So did you understand this? When I, as soon as I got my points, I just connected them with two lines.
Okay.
And now the question is that I need to find the coordinates of D. I don't know what D would be, but D would probably be somewhere here. But obviously, since I am not making guesses, I need to talk about the thing correctly. But it would be somewhere here. I'm just making a rough sketch, just so I'm able to understand things. Let's just connect this as well. Or maybe I should just make lines and then make a point. Okay. So this is the situation. And let me just rub this and this as well. So it looks like D would be somewhere here. Okay, but we need to find it. We cannot just guess that this would be its x coordinate and this would be its y coordinate. No, we need to find it. And how do we find it? Okay, we will use a concept, and that concept is, if I make two diagonals, this is diagonal 1 and this is the diagonal 2. These 2 points, these two lines are cutting each other at what point? At the midpoint of AC and at the midpoint of BD. So can we find this red point? By using A and C, we already got the midpoint of AC as what? As 1/2 and -3/2, and we can see that this point would be -1.5, that is -3/2. So it looks like we have done it correctly. If we are able to find the midpoint of AC, which we did, we have the coordinates of point B as -1 and -4. So can I not just use point B and this midpoint, that is the midpoint of BD as well, to find the coordinates of D? Yes, Gayatri and Ashal?
That makes sense.
Yeah, we can do it that way, okay? So this is the midpoint and this is the point B. Now I want you guys to use the midpoint formula again, but this time you will not be finding the midpoint. You will be finding the point D. So just do it and tell me the answer. I can give you 2 minutes. Gayatri, can you hear me now? Gayatri, are you there? I think there's some connectivity issue at her end. Anyways, okay, so I'll give you 1 more minute and then I will solve this question. Okay, so we know that the midpoint of BD would also be 1 by 2 and minus 3 by 2 because that is the midpoint of AC and these points are being shared. We know the coordinates of B, minus 1 and minus 4. I want to find the coordinates of D. So how do I find the midpoint of BD? What are the x coordinates of B and D? X coordinate of B is minus 1 and we don't know the x coordinate of D, so I will just write down x and y. So that plus x divided by 2, and for the y coordinates I need to sum both the y coordinates of B and D divided by 2. This equals 1 by 2 and minus 3 by 2. Now, what do I understand by such type of an equation? That we basically have two equations. This equals 1 by 2 minus 1 plus x by 2 equals 1 by 2, and this equals this. And we know that minus 4 plus y by 2 equals minus 3 by 2. So, yes, guys, are you able to understand this? Okay, so I will just cancel 2 and 2 and I will have minus 1 plus x equals 1. And I will take this minus 1 to the other side and this will give me x equals 1 plus 1. This means x is 2. And what was x? X was the x coordinate of D. So it is 2. And what is the y coordinate? Again, I will cancel 2 and 2. And y would be minus 3 plus 4, that is y equals 1. So this means the y coordinate of y Y coordinate of D would be 1. So this is the answer, right? The coordinates of point D would be 2 and 1. Did you understand this, both of you?
Yes, Miss.
And what
Yeah, I
about
did.
Srisha? Okay, perfect. Anything that you would like to ask from today's class?
No, but I did want to know if you have like recorded lectures. Oh, when will we finish coordinate geometry?
Uh, by the end of next week.
By the end of next week.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have like lectures of